Well, Middlesbrough have been in the headlines this week for the wrong reasons. Nothing, of course, to do with the club themselves. Indeed, it's just two of the employees decided not to turn up for pre-season training on Monday. Afonso Alves and Mido took it upon themselves to give the training a miss, and up until Friday, Mido still hadn't returned. Alves was back on Wednesday. We haven't had any excuses or indeed apologies. The club are equally as frustrated as the fans and people in the town are generally about these two not showing the commitment and loyalty you'd expect from players who are on very big salaries, certainly salaries that most people would love to earn in a week, in a year, never mind a week. But Gareth Southgate is still battling to put the team together for the start of the season, which is coming ever closer. He's dealt with it internally, he's frustrated, annoyed, angry, but he knows also that he's got a big job in his hands to get the team ready for the first game against Sheffield United on August the 7th. Speaking of Sheffield United, Southgate's been in talks with their out-of-contract striker Webber, who is a player who's done well for Sheffield. He scores goals, although he's not prolific, and Boro have spoken to him, and there's been discussions over a move, but unfortunately Middlesbrough probably need to move a player or two on before they can sign him, and that suggests really that finances aren't that flexible at the moment at the club. Middlesbrough haven't been able to move on any of the big earners yet, the Stuart Downings, the Tunjais, the Midos, the Alveses. So until some or all of those players move on, it really ties Gareth Southgate's hands in terms of bringing people on. So if they can get Danny Webber, that would certainly strengthen the squad, but at the moment it's not looking as though anything's going to be tied up until, as I say, somebody moves out. We did have two new arrivals this week though, finally unveiled to the public, and that was Danny Coyne and Mark Yeates, the two new signings we have managed to get so far. Both players are really positive lads. They're really delighted to be at Middlesbrough, and that's pleasing to hear when we've had the events of this week from players who perhaps aren't as keen to give 110% to Middlesbrough's cause. I think there'll be good assets to the club. Remains to be seen whether or not Coyne actually starts that many games next season. Brad Jones is the man in possession, but as goalkeepers can lose form or indeed be injured, it's nice to have an experienced man in there just ready to step into his shoes. And of course with Yeates, he's somebody who can play right across the middle or indeed just behind the front too. So he is another addition who could be a big useful member of the squad, and he's certainly very keen to make an impression. Overall, it's been a difficult week for the manager. He'll be desperate now to put the Mido and Alves situation behind him, but with somebody like Mido it's looking difficult because, as I say, he's not even back, or he certainly wasn't back before the weekend, and that could potentially run, and the last thing Middlesbrough need now is some negative headlines when everybody else behind the scenes is trying to push on. One other little bit of news: Alan Smith, the former Crystal Palace manager, comes in to help Gareth out. He's a long-term colleague of Gareth's. Gareth played under him at Palace, and he's been somebody who's been a kind of mentor figure throughout Southgate's managerial career so far. He's now got some sort of part-time appointment with the club, which means he'll probably be popping in a couple of days a week, and also perhaps liaising over the phone with Gareth, just probably guiding him, giving him some advice, giving him a few pointers to help him get out of the Championship, which of course is everybody's desire and aim as the season looms ever closer.